Welcome to Mr. Regular's BNN class. I love my window.
Audio Jungle.
Good morning, Sab Bulldogs. Good morning, Raven.
Good morning, Leticia.
So I've got some pretty exciting news for you.
What is it?
My elf just got to my house. That means Santa is coming soon.
Santa isn't real, Leticia.
Why would you even say that?
Alright, let's watch some SAB BNN news and let's have her. Oh my god. Let's give her some time to get over it.
It's Friday morning, Bulldogs, and you're watching the BNN Weather Network. And we will be talking today about how BC is bracing for the second of three storms. We are joined by Raven, who joins us from Abbotsford, BC. Raven, good morning. And can you tell us about how Abbotsford is and how they are preparing for the storm?
Well, the good news is that Highway 1 did reopen yesterday. That's the key corridor between Chilliwack and Abbotsford, connecting the rest of the lower mainland. But there are still some local road closures in effect, like where I am this morning. The rain has let up slightly, but the province and city aren't letting their guard down just yet. Flood warning in effect the Sumas River, where the water levels are constantly being monitored. Thursday's rain did also have an impact on one of the pump station's ability to reduce the current flood water levels. No increase in the Sumas prairies, which is the good news. The mayor of Abbotsford says we are not out of the woods just yet.
All right, Raven. Thanks so much. Appreciate the update on BC.
That's all for now from the BNN Weather Network. Hopefully you tune in next.
Thank you for the weather update, Raven.
Well, now we move on to Leticia, where she goes asks SAB students on what they think their screen time is.
It's no secret that kids nowadays have been on their phones a lot. So I'm going to go ask around kids in the school to see what their screen time is. I think mine's probably around 3.5 hours. And since COVID, that's been our only way of communicating with each other when we were at home. So we've been bringing that into school and just being on their phones in the classrooms a lot. So let's go see what other kids' screen time is.
I think my screen time's like a good 6 hours.
I think 5 hours because I play games.
I think 1 hour because I don't go on my phone a lot.
I think 3 hours because I'm watching YouTube all the time.
I think my screen time is 8 hours a day.
What do you think your screen time is?
Around 2 hours a day.
Probably like 5 hours, I'm guessing.
I probably have a pretty high screen time, probably around 4 or 5 hours because I do all my schoolwork on my phone.
Probably 3 hours.
I'd say probably 8 hours.
Yeah, I would say like 8 or 9 hours.
Probably like 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
I'd say 4 hours.
Thank you, Leticia.
Now we move on to Cameron at the hockey arena to interview a few hockey players.
Hey, Bulldogs. This is Cameron Cox, your host today. We will be talking about the senior boys hockey team. We will be asking them how they think they will do this season and who they think their biggest competitor will be.
We have a lot of optimism going into the season. It's going to be a different season this year. We got a whole ton of new guys out there, and we're just thinking we're going to have to kind of do this by committee this year. But our first tournament, we won the first 3 games. We only lost to Medway, so we're getting pretty excited about it. Well, this year is a little different because it's the first time we're a AAA school, and we're going right into the playoffs. We already know against CCH, so we only have one playoff series. 2 out of 3 games with CCH, and the winner goes to Wassa. So they have to be our biggest competitor right now. They're the only ones we're getting ready for.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
Never stop.
My name's Sam Thai. I wear number 44. Honestly, the boys are looking pretty good so far. Just grinding it out game by game. Years past, we had to go through a couple teams to get to city finals, and this year we only have to do CCH. So I think the boys are looking good, and I think another city championship's coming home to SAB. Biggest rival this year is definitely either STA or MTS. Both pretty bad teams, honestly. there's three things certain in life: death, taxes, and SAB beats both of them every time. So should be good. But honestly, I see us coming out on top again.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm gonna wear 77. We're looking pretty solid out there. I mean, variety of skilled players, but I think what's really gonna win us games is our hard work and determination. I don't really know, honestly. They all look pretty good. So, out of the public schools, I'd say probably Medway. They have some really good talent out there, and yeah.
All right.
Are you ready for this shit? Come on!
That even got me pumped up. Well, thank you, Cameron.
Now we move on to Danny, where he goes ask SAB students on what they think on the minimum wage increase.
Hey Bulldogs, the government has recently raised the minimum wage raise, and let's see what the students think about it. What's your name and where do you work?
It's Gus Mafood, and I work over at Winners over at Hyde Park.
Leticia, and I work at Olivia and Rose.
I'm Mateo, and I work at Marble Slab.
My name is Anastasia Mayer, and I work at Winners.
My name is Austin Sims, and I work at Vienna Dental.
Why do you think they raised the minimum wage?
I think it was to improve people's quality of life. Part of me also kind of thinks it's for, like, you know, Trudeau is a publicity stunt, but the better part of me wants to say it's to make people have a better life.
Well, some people don't get underpaid, like paid like nothing for jobs that they could be getting paid more.
Yeah, same thing mostly because people are working overtime and it's just to make it fair for most, you know?
Oh, I love it. I'm a shopaholic, and it means more shopping.
Personally, I believe too much people complained about the current price that minimum wage was set at, and that's what led Doug Ford to increasing it.
Do you think there's anything negative about it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things negative about it. I think a lot of companies are going to have to do a lot of layoffs from the kind of lower staff. I think part-time workers are definitely going to get affected by it.
Well, I don't think so, because then it just makes it more even, so everyone kind of gets paid like a fair amount, and it's not like crazy.
Same thing though, like it makes people like the same amount and everything, but it still raises prices way too much, and it will like raise any kind of like store like values or anything like that. So I think it does have in some way a negative effect.
No.
Personally, I believe the change doesn't really matter, as if they change the minimum wage, they'll also change the price of everything else, making the change in minimum wage moot, so it doesn't accomplish much. Also, it's called minimum wage for a reason. It's not a living wage. If you were supposed to live off it, it would be called living wage.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Danny.
And as we all know, most of us know, we're going back to semesters, to 4 classes all at once, back when the classes that we have right now end. So we have Rachel interviewing a few kids from SAB and teachers, asking them what they think about it.
The London District Catholic School Board has decided that all students will go back to semesters starting in February. Let's see how the staff and students at SAB feel about this.
Honestly, I find that just overall really dumb idea. First of all, for the past 2 years, we were barely in school. First they do like, okay, let's go online, and then it's just not like the marks just don't count. You just keep whatever you have, and then you actually have summer, and then you actually go into class, and you have to do everything but online, and then you do like a mixed, and then you half online, half in class, and then you go back to just online again. Like, okay, let's go back to class, and then let's do quadmesters, so like 2 classes at a time, and then they do that for like 2 months, and then next thing we know, back to semesters.
I'm happy to hear that we're going back to semesters in February. I think it'd be a good thing for all of us, and it will bring back a sense of kind of our normal year. For me in music, I've always said that it's really not the type of subject you can cram. So spreading that out over 18 weeks is just exactly the type of thing that we need.
For the grade 12s, that's so bad. Like, if they have just one more exam, when they literally haven't had an exam since like first semester of grade 10, and they have to do good, or else they won't get into the school that they want to get into.
Personally, I think the semesters are a really bad idea because us as grade 10 students have only had 1 or 2 subjects at a time, not 4. So it's going to cause a lot of stress, and we also have not had a lot of time to prepare for this.
Do it when the new year starts. Like, do it starting September of next year when we go into grade 12, when the new classes go into the next year. Because some of us have really hard classes all at once.
What I feel about it is that in grade 12 or next year, they should change it, and this should just leave it like this, you know? Because I feel that we are just used to the schedule that we have, and we're good at it. So I feel that next year will be a good change.
History and then something else. They didn't think of that. They didn't plan it, but now they're just throwing it at us like it's nothing.
Those were some great thoughts and opinions. Good luck to everyone this upcoming semester.
Well, those were some pretty strong opinions, but thank you, Rachel.
Now, we move on to Abdul, where he goes ask some SAB students on what they think they're going to be doing in 10 years.
Good morning, Bulldogs. Happy Friday. Today we're going to go ask students and teachers, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
All right, in 10 years, I am hoping to become a dentist. I'm working towards that goal. I'm set in stone on it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
In 10 years, I would really like to become a civil engineer.
All right, in 10 years, I think I want to be a software engineer.
In 10 years, I want to be a mechanic because I'm really into cars.
So I was just asked where I think I'm going to be in 10 years. Well, I think I'm going to be the president, perhaps the CEO of a large corporation. That's what I think I'm going to be in 10 years.
In 10 years, I want to be a real estate agent so I can sell houses.
In 10 years, I want to be a doctor, a surgeon, opening my medical center and helping other people.
I want to be an engineer to help build buildings for my community.
I want to be a lawyer to help people stay out of jail. I want to be a prime minister to help this country.
I want to be a doctor to help save lives.
In 10 years, let's see, where do I think I'm going to be? Maybe Arizona.
In 10 years, I want to be a gym teacher because I'm really into fitness.
In 10 years, I'm going to be a professional soccer player.
In 10 years, I'm going to be a pharmacist to help people.
In 10 years, I believe I'll be in prison.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Abdul. Those were some interesting answers.
Now we move on to Miguel talking about soccer.
For the soccer season in SAB, and we're going to be asking players what they think and what are their expectations on the team this year.
I think it's maybe going to last about a month, maybe over a month later. For there to be a lot of competition, good players, and hopefully winning the championship. Yeah, I am going to try out.
I think the soccer season is going to last a month, or maybe a little bit over a month. I think that the team is going to be well structured, and hopefully we're going to have great games and everything's going to go well. Most definitely, yes, I'm going to be the captain.
Maybe a month or two. Well, I think it's going to be good this year. Maybe some fast players and stuff. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Stevan.
Now we move on to Jordan's segment about online school.
With how we had to resort to online learning last year, now comes the question of how online learning will become integrated and eventually take over our education. Today I'm going to be talking to some staff and students to see how they feel about online learning and the changes to come.
So I did not like online learning last year. I thought I couldn't focus on anything, but I believe and I hope that it won't become a thing in the future where you have to have online at school forever because it's boring.
Online learning, it's definitely where we're headed, partly, but we can't forget the social aspect of in-school learning as well. They work together as one.
I like online learning because it gives us like the freedom to work at our own pace and set up like other schedules around it.
I feel online learning is good to like help people, but is very distracting. But in-school learning also has its pros and cons.
Well, I think online learning is good for some students, certainly not all. I still think the best place for students to learn is in class. That's where students best absorb material and have the chance to have some face-to-face interaction, and also the social aspect as well. I think we learned during COVID that school is much more than just what happens in the classroom and the curriculum, that there's a lot more that needs to be taught just besides the actual curriculum. So I think it can be part of the experience, but certainly can't exclusively just be online learning.
Thank you, Jordan, on that awesome opinions about online school.
And now we'll go to Ray's segment, which you get to see a few clones.
Finally. No. What do you want? Don't leave me in there. I want to watch. No, I'll watch. I said I'm watching. You know what? I had enough of this. How does it feel to be small? You like that? Back to watching. That felt weird, you know? Getting squished. Oh, no. But you know, that wasn't nice. And now, I'm gonna end you. Fine, let's go.
Oh my god, wasn't that so cool?
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Ray. From now on, Sab Bulldogs will be moving on to online broadcasts. So hopefully you guys stay in tune.
Thank you for watching.